One more time. We back again, family. They let us do it one more time. Okay, we took a wow. Uh okay, so somebody got to call and check in with me so they can help me. I can articulate situations that happen to me from time to time, day to day, my ins and outs and ups and downs with the people that call me. But of course, things are very intimate, close to the cuff, uh, very intimate details of people's lives. And then it's not something that you could discuss, of course, online. And the people that I deal with, most of my friends are business owners. One of my friends just really went through a huge successful situation. And I had been calling them for about 2 months. And they didn't return the calls, the text messages. So now I'm kind of thinking, okay, I'm hoping they good, right? So I'm about to drop by the house. I'm saying I got to go check in on them and see what's going on and make sure they good. Um, then they I caught up with them. They text me. We went out about 2 days ago, and this individual, we was in a public place, and it was very an intense, in depth conversation. Uh, and they let me know what I meant to them and what I've done for them throughout the last past 10 or plus years. And so me, I'm thinking, I haven't talked to this person. They haven't called me. I haven't seen them. I'm like, what's going on? Maybe it's something I did. I said, maybe we done fell out and I don't know it, right? But that wasn't the case. So that answered about 8 months to a year of the last questions I had about the people that are close to me. It's not always that, it's not about you. Somebody's going through the things that they're going through. You can't understand a person. You can't walk a mile in their shoes. Sometimes it's not knowledge. It's not something I can tell you. Sometimes it's only an experience. You must experience it. I can't tell you about it. You have to live it. So that's where we were with that one. And it was very good friend of mine. I've been in business 30 years. I've, never had a job. I've always had my own business. And that gives me a different perspective and a grasp on life because I always had to figure it out. I never had the opportunity to be in a company or a corporation or institution where somebody told me this is what we're going to do. And I just executed on the task at hand. I always had to get the staff, buy the building, set up the utilities, buy the equipment, come up with the product or the service, that type of thing. So that gives you a different mentality, a different way that you approach life. So that's where the Clipper Dome Chronicles came from. When I started seeing men come in my barbershop back in 93, 94, to me, it was a forum every day. People from all walks of life. Again, we had Mensa geniuses. We had street hustlers. We had pimps. We had bishops. We had, thieves. We had teachers. We had entrepreneurs. Anything you could think of. So when you get to that point and you start dealing with this plethora of people, and you can sit back and listen and just say, "Hey, let me learn something. What can I get from these experiences?" This is a wealth of knowledge with people from diverse backgrounds. There were different social, economic, religious, diverse. Um, um, these backgrounds were so vast and so different. But then when you get to sit down and you could collect them together, you could write it down, and then you can start recording it. Then you can start holding forums, and then you see these patterns start repeating themselves. And I did the same thing in the hair salon. I went down there and talked to the ladies, and I started seeing this pattern. It kept repeating itself. So now that was I started my research 12 years ago, where I literally have documentation, and I have people who have gotten married, people who have still together, not married, people who have changed their lives off of the information that I can give that comes from other people, and it's not about me. So tonight we want to talk about men and women, men and women's percentages. So when we're talking about men and women percentages, we want to talk about. We all see it online. We read a book. It maybe it's a magazine. We're hearing conversation in the barbershop or the hair salon. Maybe it's the church. Maybe it's the job. Where 50 years ago, the man was the provider. And if the man is the provider, 50 years ago, there was a 40% difference in the economic means that it took to support a family 50 years ago up until today. It's a 40% difference, easy. And it depends on which area you want to look at. So 50 years ago, when we're talking about 1970, there could be one car in the family, one insurance note, one house note. The family was together. They cooked at home most of the time. They went out sporadically, not as often as today. The trips to Cancun, the trips to Hawaii, the trips to Maui, the trips to, Italy and Germany and France, they weren't taking those back then. So now, if we're going to look at the percentages of what it takes for a man to do what a man did 50 years ago, it's totally different. I had a good friend of mine, his daughter graduated, and she wanted to go to, oh my goodness. Ah, I forget where it was. It was the trip was like $15,000. It was an exotic place, and she's 18 years old, and she wanted to go. So he sat her down and he explained to her, he said, "Hey, sweetie, this is what it costs to go to this place that you want to go to." So her and her girlfriend, after he told her, she went back and got with her girlfriends, and they figured out that's not the best move right now, at this point in time in their life. So the trip was like 15,000 just for her. So that's the trip there. That was spending money. That was hotel, eating, and all the other good stuff. So that's the difference in the percentage of raising a family today versus raising one 50 years ago. So now we want to start with the man being a provider. When the man is being a provider, the stock market dictates to us what inflation is, what the interest rates are going to be, what the rates on the commodities and the goods and the services will be. That's dictated by the stock market. So 50 years ago in the 70s, you could buy a house in a major city. I'm not talking about LA or New York, just a major city in the United States. You could do that for probably anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000. That was just anywhere in general, not the big ones, not New York, not in California, but in between, you can do that for 20 to 50. That was average. Now we see the housing market is crazy. It is skyrocketed out of control. The interest rates are low, but there's no inventory in real estate today. So now the prices are so high because now the baby boomers are downsizing. They've raised their children. They have grandchildren. So now they're not working. So they're taking that disposable income and they're paying cash for the homes and driving up the prices because they're paying over what the asking price is. So because the stock market dictates the interest rate, the inflation, it's the goods and services, the prices on goods and services and commodities. So now we have to look at if a woman wants a man to provide like a man did 50 years ago, he has to put out at least 40% more than his grandfather or his great grandfather did. So now, fellas, we're going to start with y'all. So we're going to talk about stepping up. So if you want that beautiful woman, fellas, if you want that lifestyle, you're going to have to be 10% of the population as far as your earning is concerned. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want to go get it. But you got to understand you're going to be at the top 10%. And so that leaves 90% of us that won't make it. So where do you fall in that categorization as far as a man providing? So it's different levels to a man. Okay, then that's Clipper Chronicles again. You can go to YouTube and look up what is a man. That's video number 2. And you just have to watch that a couple of times because the first time it's just going to be a little bit maybe foreign to most people, but you can check it out and go back over that. You can find out that there are levels to men. This is a mentality. It is not an age. Okay. If the brother's going to step up and you want to do 40% more than your grandfather or your father did, you're going to have to do a hell of a job because it takes a whole lot more money. When I was coming up, I was born in the 70s, early 70s. We did do functions, but no child had $1,000 birthday party. There was no sweet 16 birthday party where somebody was getting a car. It didn't work like that. I'm not saying anybody. I'm not saying never. I'm saying most times. That's not how that works. So now you can see, I think it was, I don't know when this came out, but one of the big rappers, his daughter had a sweet 16 birthday party. He spent like $250,000. On her 16th birthday party. She had like a BMW truck or Mercedes, something crazy like that, right? So now we have the internet and we have these young people trying to simulate the lifestyles of millionaires. And it's just not feasible because the man is going to have to put out 40% more than his father or his grandparents did. So now when we talking to the sisters and they want this man that's making, 150 or better, he's going to have to put out 40% more. Back then, there were very few black men making $150,000. So now if you want a man making 150,000 or better, that's going to be 40 to 50% more than his predecessor. So if you want him to assume that role, he's going to have to step up. He's going to have to get more education. He's going to have to get a skill set. He's going to have to learn some trades. He's going to have to do something different so he can bring in that income so he can support that family the way that this woman needs him to do that. Now, there's nothing wrong, fellas, with the woman wanting that. Okay? You got to step up. You got to figure it out. If you're going to be the leader and you're going to be the provider, you got to do what you got to do to make sure that family has what they need, because that's what the women are looking for. Okay? That don't mean that you have to do it. I'm just telling you, that ideal woman that you're looking for, she's probably going to want you to get at least 100 to 150,000 at the bare minimum, if not 250 and up. Now, ladies, we know what the fellas have to do. Okay, I'm putting this as simply as I can. I'm old school. I'm not going to sugarcoat and dance for you. You're going to have to do 40% more than your grandmother did. You, ladies, yes, you're going to have to do 40% more than your grandmother did. Your grandmother, she cooked, she cleaned, she raised children, she had power, she wasn't going for possessions, she didn't necessarily have the education that you have. So, what is your 40% looking like? What do you have to do to change that 40% so that you can arise to the occasion of the man that you're looking for? I don't have a problem telling the brothers what they have to do. They know it, and I don't have a problem saying it because they can't run it by me and say they don't have to do that, because they know they do if that's what they want. But now on the other side, ladies, you're going to have to do 40% more than your grandmother. So now, most of the ladies today, they don't cook, they don't clean, they're not catering to their man. These things, that's a dying art. So now you can't expect for him to step up and do 40% more than his grandfather and his father when you can't even do half what your grandmother did 50 years ago. It's not going to work. It doesn't make sense. Your goals and objectives, your journey has to meet the destination. Your goals and objectives have to meet your outcome. So if your outcome is not matching up with your goals and objectives, we need to change the mentality. We need to change the approach. So that's it for today. We don't want to make it long. This one's going to be short and sweet. So we want y'all to take this. We want you to test this. We want you to try this. Take it to the barbershop or take it to the hair salon. Take it to the job or take it to the church. Remember, you don't have to like it, believe it, or understand it. Sometimes you just have to respect it. This is the Clipper Dome Chronicles. Thank you.